to the United States of their own volition and free will?
If they get vetted by the U.S. State Department, what's wrong with that?
Do you believe the U.S. State Department has the capability of vetting that many people?
Absolutely. All illegal immigrants are paying fees in order to get vetted. They want to be vetted.
Mr.
They're
Beer,
desperate to get
we are
time
talking
to
about the
apply to
same
become
State
legal.
Department under Tony Blinken that couldn't evacuate 10,000 Americans from Afghanistan, that couldn't evacuate Americans out of Israel, where you had members of Congress go over to Israel to get 246 Americans out because the State Department was busy sending text messages and dropping voicemails into people's cell phones. That U.S. State Department can process millions of people coming into the United States.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the State Department has its challenges, but if you look at where it started...
Did you hear that? Because that exchange was absolutely brutal. A Republican congressman just walked a witness straight into one of the most unbelievable immigration arguments you'll ever hear. Just let everyone get a visa and hop on a plane. That's the grand strategy. Seriously. While the southern border is basically being run like a business by drug cartels, the solution from the other side is, relax everybody, just let millions more people come in legally and trust the State Department to handle it. Yeah. The same State Department that couldn't even evacuate Americans properly from Afghanistan. That one. And now we're supposed to believe they can smoothly vet and process millions of new arrivals without breaking a sweat? Come on. The hypocrisy here is so thick it practically needs its own border wall. If you enjoy watching weak arguments crumble in real time, hit like, subscribe, and stick around. Let's watch the full clip before.
So what
I
you're
give you the full
advocating
breakdown.
for is that the policy of the United States of America is that people can basically hop an airliner and come to the United States of their own volition and free will?
If they get vetted by the U.S. State Department, what's wrong with that?
Mr. Edlow, real quick, it was said in previous testimony that roughly 3% of people who apply through the legal process of coming into the United States through the green card program, 3% of all that apply actually get approved. Can you speak to why that is the number? Is that accurate? Is that an accurate description?
I've not heard that number, so I don't want to talk about the percentage itself. I can tell you, Congressman, there are close to 1 million people that get green cards every year through the various pathways in, plus all the people that come in, have applied for asylum or have gotten in through refugee status and then ultimately became permanent residents, green card holders at that point too. So there is a robust process by which people are becoming green card holders every single year.
So there is a robust process upon which people are coming into the United States.
Yes.
Mr. Beer, I saw you over there, heard your testimony over there. Do you agree with that statement?
Oh, absolutely not. If you compare the United States to other countries, it would take about 70 million people showing up in the United States tomorrow to get our immigrant share of our population to equal what we see in Australia, 35 million to get to where it is in Canada. The United States is an outlier for having a restrictive immigration policy.
Mr. Beer, do you think it is appropriate for the American government to model that of Australia and other countries around the world?
I think we should do what's in our best interest, and I think immigration can benefit the United States if done legally in an orderly manner.
Mr. Beer, do you think it's in the nation's best interest to have a massively open southern border that is largely controlled by the drug cartels?
Absolutely not.
So, Mr. Beer, follow-up question to that. Do you think it is wise for the Biden administration to reverse its protocols at the southern border?
Its own protocols?
Yes.
I don't understand.
Why
would it reverse its own protocols?
Well, let's go back. You just said that the current situation at the southern border is not in the nation's interest. It is not wise for the nation to have that.
Yeah.
And since the basic predicate of this hearing, by any objective measure, is that the policy prescriptions by Joe Biden since he became president has led to a massively open southern border, do you believe it's in the nation's interest for President Biden to reverse course on his policy prescriptions when he became president on January 20th, 2021?
I don't agree with the premise. His policies didn't cause this.
So his policies have not allowed for 3 million entrants into the country through wide open asylum and association from detention?
Sure, people definitely came. I don't dispute the numbers.
Do you deny
Biden's policies didn't
Do you
cause
deny
it to
the
happen.
fact that the drug cartels are going to make $12 billion a year trafficking people into the United States?
We should defund the cartels by letting people come to this country legally. Then they wouldn't have to hire a cartel member.
Mr. Beer, how would they cross the southern border, which is largely controlled by the drug cartels on the Mexican side of the border?
Would get on a
How would they
plane.
trespass that?
They would get a visa and get on a plane.
So what you're advocating for is that the policy of the United States of America is that people can basically hop an airliner and come to the United States of their own volition and free will? To the United States of their own volition and free will?
If they get vetted by the U.S. State Department, what's wrong with that?
Do you believe the U.S. State Department has the capability of vetting that many people?
Absolutely. All legal immigrants are paying fees in order to get vetted. They want to be vetted.
Mr.
They're
Beer,
desperate to get
we are
time
talking
to
about the
apply to
same
become
State
legal.
Department under Tony Blinken that couldn't evacuate 10,000 Americans from Afghanistan, that couldn't evacuate Americans out of Israel, where you had members of Congress go over to Israel to get 246 Americans out because the State Department was busy sending text messages and dropping voicemails into people's cell phones. That U.S. State Department can process millions of people coming into the United States.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the State Department has its challenges. The State Department has its challenges, but if you look at where it started at 83% visas being cut by the last administration, I mean, they gutted the State Department's visa processing, which is why they were not able to get Afghans out of Afghanistan.
Mr. B, I have a final question for you. We'll leave Afghanistan for another day. I disagree with you, but we'll leave that. I have a separate question for you. Do you believe the United States' current policy with respect to work authorizations, Medicare, public charge, essentially public charge doctrine with Joe Biden's administration changed from the Trump administration? Do you believe that would only juice immigration into the United States if people coming to apply for asylum directly through the U.S. State Department? That it would only increase the influx of people because they would be able to take advantage of the vast amount of the welfare state in the United States of America? Do you think it would bring more immigrants or less immigrants?
Look, I don't support immigrants being on welfare. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what the question is. I think the city of New York has unfortunately decided to put everyone up in a hotel room and make their taxpayers pay for it. That's a bad choice for them. That's not the federal government has a limited role in deciding what New York State's or New York City's policies are. So
real quick question, sorry, Chairman, real quick question, quick follow-up to that. And I'll ask all three of you, actually. If you're gonna have open borders, can you have a welfare state at the same time? Mr. Redlow?
No.
Mr. Holman?
No.
Mr. Beer?
It's gotta be restricted, and it is. Our legal immigration system restricts benefits to new legal permanent residents for 5 years.
Mr. Beer, I would strongly disagree with you because people are getting a lot of benefits the second they come into the United States of America, and it is wrong.
All right, now that you've seen the full exchange, let's talk about what actually happened here, because that Republican congressman didn't just ask questions, he exposed the entire weakness of the open border argument in about 5 minutes. First, he asked the obvious question nobody on the other side wants to answer. If the border is a disaster, and even the witnesses admit it's not in America's interest, why in the world would the Biden administration double down on the policies that created the mess? 3 million entries, cartel smuggling operations making over $100 billion trafficking human beings, and somehow the answer from the immigration activist side is more visas and more arrivals. Think about the logic for a second. Their solution is that people should just get vetted by the State Department and fly into the country. That sounds nice until you remember reality. This is the same federal bureaucracy that struggled to evacuate Americans from Afghanistan and left members of Congress scrambling to rescue citizens themselves. But we're supposed to believe that same system can suddenly process millions upon millions of migrants perfectly? That's not policy, that's fantasy. And the congressman didn't let it slide. He kept pressing the obvious contradiction. You can't have a massive flow of people coming into the country while pretending the government has unlimited capacity to vet, process, house, and support everyone. Even the witness had to admit at one point that welfare benefits should be restricted, which accidentally exposes the real problem Democrats never want to confront. You cannot run an open border mentality and a massive welfare system at the same time. The math simply doesn't work. And that's exactly why cities like New York are now panicking after advertising themselves as sanctuary cities for years. It's easy to virtue signal about unlimited compassion until the bill actually shows up. The Republican congressman cut through all the talking points and forced the debate back to reality. A nation has the right and the responsibility to control its borders, enforce its laws, and prioritize the safety and stability of its own citizens. That's not extreme. That's literally the definition of sovereignty. What you saw in that hearing wasn't just a policy disagreement. It was the difference between governing in the real world and pretending government systems can magically handle unlimited demand. The congressman stuck to facts, pushed past the political spin, and made the contradiction crystal clear. And that's exactly why the other side looked so uncomfortable by the end of it.